Thomas worked for 33 years without taking more than 2 consecutive weeks off. He maxed out his 401k every year. He lived modestly. He delayed vacations, delayed hobbies, delayed the life he wanted to live because he was saving for retirement at 65. He had a plan. At 65, he would have $2.1 million. He would travel. He would learn to sail. He would finally have time for the things he postponed for 3 decades. Thomas had a heart attack at 62. He survived, but his cardiologist told him international travel was now risky and physically demanding activities like sailing were off the table. His retirement arrived 3 years later with $2.1 million and a body that could not do most of the things he had been saving to do. He can take gentle walks, he can watch television, he can sit on beaches but not swim in oceans. The money is there, the energy is gone. He saved everything for a finish line that moved the moment he crossed it. His 30s and 40s and 50s were spent in offices and conference rooms, delaying life, building a pile of money for a future version of himself who would be healthy and energetic enough to use it. That version never showed up. The money is useless because the body that could have spent it well is broken. Thomas did everything right according to conventional retirement advice. He is miserable. My name is Bobby, and I spent way too much time thinking about why deferring all of your life enjoyment to age 65 is a catastrophic bet on a future you might not get. If you are grinding now so you can live later, if you have been postponing experiences because retirement is when life starts, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. What I'm about to show you is not about avoiding retirement savings or spending recklessly. This is about why the traditional model of working 40 years straight and then retiring is optimizing for the wrong variable. You are optimizing for maximum wealth at the end, when you should be optimizing for maximum energy usage across your entire life. I call it the mini retirement strategy, and it is about taking time off while you are still young enough to do things that require energy, not money. Here is the belief that is stealing your best years. You should save aggressively and retire at 65. You think that delaying gratification for 40 years and then cashing out at the end is the responsible path, that working through your prime years and then enjoying freedom in your 60s is what financial maturity looks like. That story is everywhere. Every financial advisor sells it. Every retirement calculator assumes it. And it is based on a fundamentally flawed assumption that you will be healthy and energetic at 65. The data says you probably will not be. A 2023 study from the National Institute on Aging found that the average American's physical capability, measured by strength, endurance, and mobility, peaks in the late 20s and declines steadily after 35. By age 65, the average person has lost approximately 30% of their muscle mass and 40% of their aerobic capacity compared to their peak. You are not the same person at 65 that you were at 35. The things you can do are different. The experiences available to you are narrower. Thomas wanted to sail. At 35, he could have learned to sail, spent weekends on the water, maybe even done a transatlantic crossing. At 65, with a damaged heart, he cannot. The dream does not adjust for the body. The body just makes the dream impossible. And this is not rare. According to the Centers for Disease Control, 60% of Americans over 65 have at least one chronic health condition that limits physical activity. 60%! That means your odds of reaching traditional retirement age with the health to do everything you planned are worse than a coin flip. You are gambling your best years on a future that is statistically likely to disappoint you. Look, the math of many retirements is not as crazy as it sounds if you actually run the numbers. Let me show you what Thomas gave up by waiting. Thomas made an average of $78,000 per year over his career. If he had taken a 6-month sabbatical every 5 years starting at age 30, he would have taken 6 sabbaticals total before 65. That's 3 years of unpaid time off spread across his working life. During those 3 years, he would have earned 0 income, which means he lost $234,000 in gross earnings. But here's what he gained. He would have traveled in his 30s when his body could hike mountains. He would have learned to sail in his 40s when his cardiovascular system could handle the physical demands. He would have taken risks and had adventures during the years when his energy was highest and his responsibilities were flexible. And here's the financial part people miss. Taking 3 years off doesn't cost you 3 years of retirement savings. It costs you less because compound interest does most of the work at the end, not the beginning. If Thomas had contributed to his 401k for 30 years instead of 33, his retirement balance at 65 would have been approximately $1.8 million instead of $2.1 million. He gave up $300,000 in final balance to work 3 extra years during his peak health decades. That trade is insane. $300,000 is not worth 3 years of your 30s and 40s. Those years are worth more than any amount of money because you can't buy them back. Thomas has $2.1 million and a broken body. A version of Thomas who took sabbaticals would have $1.8 million and 36 months of memories from when his body could actually do things. Which version is richer? The number says the first, the life says the second. This is where it gets really dark, because the system is designed to make many retirements feel irresponsible. Every financial institution, every employer, every retirement planner tells you to maximize savings, minimize time off, defer gratification. They tell you this because they benefit from it. Your employer benefits from you never taking extended time off because you are always available, always productive, always generating value for them. Financial institutions benefit from you dumping money into retirement accounts for 40 years because they collect fees on assets under management. The longer you save, the more they make. Nobody in the financial system has an incentive to tell you to take 6 months off at age 35 to travel Southeast Asia. That behavior doesn't generate fees. It doesn't maximize productivity. It doesn't fit the model. But the model is broken. A 2022 survey from the Employee Benefit Institute found that 41% of retirees say they retired earlier than planned due to health problems or disability. 41%. Nearly half of people don't make it to their intended retirement date in the physical condition they expected. They saved for a future that never arrived as planned. Thomas is not an outlier. He is the median outcome, and the system told him he was doing everything right. Now, I can already hear it. Most people can't afford to take 6 months off every 5 years. That's a luxury for rich people. And I hear that. But here's what you're missing. You can't afford it with your current spending level. You can afford it if you optimize your life around making it possible. The mini-retirement strategy requires living below your means during working years, so you can save both for mini-retirements and for traditional retirement. It's not about spending more. It's about spending differently. Let me show you the math. If you make $78,000 per year and you save 20% for retirement, that's $15,600 per year. Over 5 years, that's $78,000 in retirement contributions. If you instead save 25%, an extra 5%, that's $19,500 per year, which is $97,500 over 5 years. The extra $19,500 over 5 years funds a 6-month sabbatical where you live on minimal expenses. You're not spending more overall. You're reallocating from continuous working to periodic breaks. And the breaks don't have to be expensive. A 6-month sabbatical in Southeast Asia or Central America costs $15,000 to $20,000 if you live modestly. You're not staying in resorts. You're living like a local, cooking your own food, taking slow travel. The point is not luxury. The point is time and energy. Thomas could have done this. He chose not to because the system told him it was irresponsible. Now here's what most people don't realize about energy versus money. Money is renewable. If you spend it, you can earn more. Energy is not renewable. You have a finite amount in your life, and it declines with age. Every year you delay an energy-intensive experience is a year when that experience becomes harder or impossible. Thomas wanted to sail. At 35, learning to sail would have taken him 3 months and some money for lessons. At 65, with a weak heart, it's impossible at any price. The experience is gone. No amount of money buys it back. You are making this same trade every time you delay something that requires physical capability or youthful energy. The hiking trip through Patagonia, the month learning to surf in Costa Rica, the year backpacking through Europe. These are energy expenditure activities. They don't scale with money. They scale with physical capacity. And your physical capacity is draining every year, whether you use it or not. You can save money. You can't save energy. The energy you don't use in your 30s is gone. It doesn't roll over to your 60s.
Here's what you do if you want to stop gambling your best years on a future that might not come. First, calculate how much you need for a 6-month mini retirement. If you can live on $3,000 per month, and you can if you're strategic about location and lifestyle, you need $18,000 for 6 months. Set that as a goal. Save an extra $3,000 per year for 6 years, and you have your sabbatical fund. This is separate from retirement savings. You keep contributing to your 401k or IRA. The mini retirement fund is on top. Second, plan the sabbatical now. Do not wait until you have the money and then figure out what to do. Decide now what experience you are saving for. Make it concrete. In 6 years, I am taking 6 months to hike the Appalachian Trail. Or in 5 years, I am spending 6 months learning Spanish in Mexico. The concreteness makes it real and keeps you motivated to save. Third, negotiate with your employer for unpaid leave or be willing to quit and find a new job after the sabbatical. Some employers offer sabbatical programs. Most do not. If yours does not, you have to be willing to leave. This is the scary part. But here's the reality. Most people find new jobs relatively easily after a sabbatical if they frame it right in interviews. "I took 6 months to travel and recharge" is not a red flag to good employers. It is a sign of someone who values life and will come back energized. Fourth, optimize your sabbatical for energy expenditure, not money expenditure. Do not take a 6-month cruise where you sit in a deck chair. Take 6 months to do something physically demanding that you will not be able to do at 65. Hike, bike, climb, surf. Use your body while it works. Right now, you think you're being responsible by saving everything for retirement at 65. That story feels safe and mature and aligned with what every authority figure told you to do. But here's what's actually happening. You're betting your best years on a version of yourself that statistically will not exist. Thomas worked 33 years, postponed everything, and arrived at retirement with money and no capability. He did not win. He lost. He lost the decades when he could have sailed, when he could have traveled hard, when his body could have done things that are now impossible. The money cannot fix that. The money is useless. And you are on the same path if you are deferring all life enjoyment to a future date when you will be older, weaker, and more fragile. The mini retirement strategy is not about being irresponsible. It's about recognizing that life is short, energy declines, and the best time to do hard things is when your body can do hard things. You can keep grinding for 40 years and hope you're healthy at the end. Or you can take breaks now, use your energy while you have it, and arrive at 65 with a smaller pile of money and a much larger pile of experiences that were only possible because you did them when you were young. Thomas cannot get his 30s back. You still have yours. If this makes you reconsider waiting until 65, hit that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.